really.
What are some of the things that if I was 17 and I wanted to start investigating inventing, what would I do?
I think the first thing I'd do would be to get some books out of the library on invention, innovation, and especially a history of the American inventor. Read about these people, read how they operated, how they struggled, the problems they had. You know, many of the problems that they had, we still have today. And I think one of the biggest problems is the NIH not invented here factor, which is generally a resistance to change, a resistance on the part of most of our manufacturers to accept anything from the outside, a feeling that everything that the company that you approach is doing is right and they don't need anything new, they don't want to pay for it. So you have to read about these things or talk about them with other inventors, and of course the best thing to do is to join an inventors group to get the experience of some of these other people who've been around for a number of years, to find out just what it is, not only to be an inventor, but to attempt to sell your ideas or to market them yourself. So the primary thing I say is read about it as much as you can, subscribe to magazines that have to do with the technology of your interest. Even though they're very basic, I certainly recommend Popular Mechanics and Popular Science. They may not be very high-tech, but they certainly describe high-tech developments all the time. They're very interesting, very simplified. Most people can understand what is being published in these magazines. And then, of course, subscribe to trade magazines if you can, and some of the more technical magazines in your field. Learn the language of the technology or technologies that you're interested in improving and inventing. And
what did you do when you were first starting out? Is there a point that you can remember when you decided that you were going to earn your living as an inventor?
well, let's put it this way. There was a point, and there were really two events that occurred in my life that got me going. One of them was, of course, I took a course in inventions and how to manage an invention, how to develop it. I think the title of the course was Inventions and Their Management. Of course, I took it at NYU in the graduate division. And I learned about how to patent an invention. A second event that occurred was when I tried to come up with new ideas. In the beginning, I conceived of gadget type of inventions. And my initial inventions had to do with gadgets that applied to automobiles. I made several inventions in that field, which I never patented, but I did build a model of one of them. A third event that occurred was when I attended a demonstration in the early 1950s of a punch card control lathe. You know, a lathe is used for turning metal. I had previously taken several courses in machine shop operation, and in each one of these courses I operated a lathe. And then when I attended this demonstration of this punch card control lathe, which was really the first computer controlled machine that I had ever observed within a few feet of its operation, it impressed me. I realized that the principle of feedback control was just being developed beyond the military applications, and I started thinking about ways computerized feedback control could be employed in the development of many machines. So I started, yes?
You want to come in and, Jerry, clear your throat. You're starting to get a little hoarse.
Am I? Right. Maybe I should have a glass of water here.
Was Jimmy's thing in his pocket when we started this?
I had him take it out. Did you put your glasses back in your pocket?
Oh my gosh, forgot about that.
You take your water with ice or...
You know what I'll do? I'll get something to drink and have it by here.
We get it to you.
We're going to have to do this over again, huh?
Shall I get it?
Yeah, we're going to
I'll pick something out. I don't even know what I want right now, but I think I should have a liquid here.
Two critical points that you remember that inspired you to pursue a career in invention. Can you describe what those 2 points were?
Well, there was really one point that inspired me to consider a career as an inventor, and a second point that I'll tell you about that certainly boosted my career considerably. The first one was a course I took in patents and their management at NYU in the graduate division in 1949, where I learned about the invention process and how to obtain a patent, what a patent was all about, what the patent system was all about. And the second event occurred in the early 1950s, a couple of years later, when I attended a demonstration at the Armour Corporation in Brooklyn of a punch card controlled lathe. I had previously taken courses in machine shop and operated a number of lathes during these courses, and in the course of work that I was doing, I was operating a lathe every now and then. And when I saw this lathe operated solely by means of a group of punch cards which were read to generate the control signals for the lathe without human attendance, it just amazed me that a machine tool could be operated that way. And I immediately understood that this so-called feedback process of automatic control, a computerized type system, had many applications in many areas of technology. And I began thinking about how to apply a computerized theory and techniques to other types of machinery. And I received...
And that led you into the area of robotics?
Led me into robotics. It led me into flexible manufacturing systems. It led me to develop and patent was probably the first computer-controlled extrusion machine. Eventually, I applied the principles to injection molding and obtained some of the first patents in computer-controlled injection molding machines, and in rotational casting and various fields of manufacture.
Can I come in a little bit more? What do you think it is that makes the difference between a person who might see that demonstration that you described and say, gee, how interesting, and walk away from it, and someone like yourself who sees it and your mind starts thinking about where is that going to go?
Well, I must admit that at the time I saw the demonstration, I was extremely interested in inventing new products, new machines. And when I went there, I had no idea as to what I was about to see. But when I left the demonstration, the wheels started spinning in my head as to, gee whiz, how do I apply this principle to other machinery?
And in a way, was that the point at which you made the leap from inventing gadgets to inventing more sophisticated kinds of things?
I would say that was about the turning point. That was the turning point in my career as an inventor. I continued to invent gadgets and toys, but I began to spend more and more time in thinking about developing in my head and on paper ways to improve machinery, including machine tools and machines that manufacture products and components of products.
If you had to pick, what would you say that your most significant invention has been?
Actually, it's a series of inventions that are used today interactively.